Hey guys, we're here with Rehan. We're at Toronto Regionals. We're waiting on the standings, so you should top 8 with Branded Despia PAL version.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this version of this deck in the format?
It's really fun to play. It's probably like one of the most fun decks I've played in a while. Fire got really boring. I played it for like a few, one YCS Costa Rica. And obviously I don't really enjoy playing it, and it's waiting on the bed list, but it's really fun to play. I played this for 2 regionals now, and it's been a blast.
Awesome, well, let's get right to the list then.
Alright, so this is the extra. Okay, so it's not 60 cards, it's 52 cards. So it's relatively standard. 3 Alubers, 3 Cartesia. Really good because you are trying to like turbo out like as much as possible, and this deck has really good like gas hands that play through like hand traps and interruptions really well. 3 Elbaz because you push through them. Really great one Upstart Goblin. Puts in like Elbaz Engrave to like combine with Cartesia, let's just special summon that. Put in Retribution, Branded Fusion, things like that. So all really good cards, and allows you to get really good setup. Probably like the most consistent branded version that I've built, played. And it really actually plays really well through hand traps. Like rarely do you only lose like 1 Ash. Like Ash plus Imperm and something like might be the case, but rarely do you ever lose like 1 hand trap. So these are just like the consistency cards and like the 3-ups. Obviously it can't be branded without you playing like many 1-ups. Probably like all-star of the deck, Quem. So many cool combos you can do with this card. Allows you to really extend your game state and extend like the width of your boards. And also allows you to like really layer your interactions. I think when it first came out, I kind of underestimated how good it was, but now that I play with it more and more, it actually turns out to be like very good. And it's very accessible as well. 1 Lubellion for the combo line, 1 Saronir just for the combo as well. And just rounding off my Bestials, 1 Magnemite. So this one's weird because people usually like side it, but the issue was my side was so tight for this regional that I didn't want to like cut the Magnemite obviously, and I really wanted to play another card as well as my 15th. So my friend, shout out to Matt, he recommended that I just push this from my 15th from my side to the main, because what are the odds of drawing it in 52 cards? I'll tell you, it's a lot. It was fine, like it was great to discard and banish with a lure. Continuing on with the 1-ups, 1 Tragedy, 1 Ad Libitum, 1 Mercurier, and 1 Puppet. I played the Puppet because people aren't main decking Bestials still. So this is really like find a resolve like game 1s. If you're not getting hand trapped early on, that means you can kind of like, gauge that your opponent doesn't really have hand traps. I was at Nibiru, and obviously Nibiru doesn't stop this deck. So you can still push through Nibiru really well. And obviously with Bestials not being in the main decks, this is a really safe bet if you're not getting hand trapped and you want easy wins game 1s. Sometimes depending on the matchups, I do side this out going second. Obviously going second, and maybe sometimes like game 3 as well. I don't really go for it unless like it's my only line available. But it did win me a lot of games. I did play a mirror match this last round, round 9, and obviously it did win me the mirror match because it was against 60 card Branded. So lots of 1-ups. Patchwork engine, really good.
Just 1 poly, okay.
Yeah, just 1 poly because I didn't want to clunk on the card. And what's really good is like with the addition of this standout card, I'll touch on it more later. Magnum the Reliever. So this card initially before, you'd use your Patchwork engine, you'd use your poly, and your Patchwork engine will be dead. But with Magnum the Reliever, you can shuffle it back and just basically just like a card trader, right? You can just draw another card. And it's been really good. This is probably like the most standout addition that Branded has had, in my opinion, over like the past couple of months. So yeah, but like this was really good to have in terms of like the 1 polymerization and then the 5 card Patchwork engine. 3 Branded Fusion. This actually didn't get ashed like much. So go figure. Apparently success with Branded also associated with not getting ashed on Branded Fusion. But it didn't get ashed a lot, which is great. This like bodies like cards like Voiceless, even like the Omni negates that Snake Eyes puts up because you can just recycle this so many times with cards like Tragedy, Retribution, things like that. This card allows you to get into any of your Despia monsters, but also Quem as well. This to get into Fallen Valvas going second, but also getting into like Cartesia to play through hand traps as well. And then lastly, for in terms of this engine, 2 Branded and Red. I know sometimes people play 3 in the 60 card version, but I thought 2 was sufficient. I didn't want to like clunk on it. Like you want to use it sometimes, but also have like another one in the grand game as well. So that was good. Allure of Darkness. I didn't play Desires. My issue with Desires is that although it's great in terms of like pushing interboards, we just saw like how many 1-ups the deck plays. We actually play even more 1-ups that we're still going to get to in the spell and trap cards. But like you don't want to like up the count of those cards because those cards are the cards that you don't actually want to draw, right? Those cards are the ones that you actively want to search out. So having to up the count of cards, Quem, potentially like some of the other cards as well, like even tragedies or ad libitum, and like banishing those resources actually does hurt you. Maybe like not right away, but the beauty of this deck is that it's so flexible in terms of like the options it has because everything in the deck is super accessible. So as soon as you start playing Desires, not only do you hurt your grind game, but you also hurt the toolbox ability of the deck to adapt to whatever scenario that your game gives you. So that's why I only stuck with the 3 Allures and not the triple Desires. Probably like the best card, the best non-engine card in this deck. Also the first time that I've played Thrust in a deck and it's actually felt good. This is so good just because of how obviously Branded Fusion is targeted by Ash. So getting into Fusion deployment is so good. Also, I learned last round that this is actually a really good safeguard in terms of the mirror match because this can banish from anyone's graveyard. So I didn't know that until last round. So thank you to my opponent. So there's that. So and there's more one-ofs. Droplets. Really good card. The Lost. Retribution. 1 talents to combine with the Thrust. Gold Star for accessibility from Tragedy or Mercurier. One of these for some niche combo lines, and then the one Call by the Grave. So that is it for the main deck. It was 52 cards. I added cards until I felt like there weren't any more like good cards to add. Moving on to the main deck. So obviously spoke about Magna the Reliever, like Baby Chimera, 2 Albion, good cards, 2 of these, 1 of this, 1 of this, 1 of this. So this is really good, not only because it kind of fuses away big bodies and really swings per game, but also gets you really easy access to Quem in the end phase, to sets up really good like layered combos. This is for Puppet Lock, but also protecting from evenly, and this is just to layer your interactions with the Albazing Ring. So obviously really good cards. The 2 Grangoignal, recovery plays, having to like do niche weird puppet combos where like you do 1 step of the combo on your turn, it gets imper match, and you can do it again on the opponent's turn. So it was good. What won me a lot of games was this card, Masquerade. Because this is a 52 card deck with no hand traps, the games naturally tend to go long because your opponents get to combo very freely, and then you try to break the board. So the game is very, in a sense, back and forth. So by the time game 3 rolls around, you're always near within the last 20 minutes or less 10 minutes. So if you go first, you don't need to end on Puppet. You can just end on like your standard board. But if you supplement it with a Masquerade, then it's very difficult for your opponent to like break the board, but also keep in mind that the Masquerade is burning them for life as well. So this was really good. Also won me my last round as well. The Dracos Tapelia for when you get shifted and other stuff. I forgot the Lebellion. Where it is, this card was amazing today. This was really good in a few matchups because outing is actually very hard, and then it floats into either recovery in terms of Aluber for Branded Fusion, or it keeps pushing on the opponent's turn as a further disruption for Albaz plays. And the last card obviously was Guardian Chimera. Moving on to the extra deck, obviously 15. Phantasme. I know a lot of people play it, but I was iffy about it. So if you look at Hakuna's tier list, actually, I did reference your tier list because I haven't been playing the game as much lately. So I wanted to know like what people are playing for tier 2 decks. So obviously, a really good reference. Thank you. So I wanted to know what people are playing, and I wanted to have wide coverage for a regional because I think the main does a really good job in covering Snake Eyes decks. And so if you look at the tier 2 decks, the issue is Phantasme isn't actually used in any of the other matchups. Voiceless Voice, Manadium, Branded, Floanderies, Kashtira, any one of those decks you'll find all in the tier 2 category, but you can't use Phantasme against them. So my issue with this card was that it was very limited to only Snake Eyes decks, and I felt like I had a decent matchup against them already. So I was actually considering putting in Bestials, and Bestials would have been really good. I think Bestials for this event, for this regional, would have been amazing to have. I did resolve Phantasme like once against one fire opponent, but I think in hindsight, Bestials would have been the right move. But it's okay. We respected the best deck of the format. We only played 2 fire decks: 1 fire Salamangreat, 1 fire Snake Eyes. So it is what it is. It's fine. In terms of more fire side deck cards, 3 Dark Rulers. I think Pac talked about it. he's like down the table. Talked about it, how like using this against the Snake Eyes board is really good because you turn off Formula Savage and things like that, and then you can just like break apart the board, remainder of the board. Also against Kashtira and other rogue decks. So this was really good. Glad I played this. Initially before this for Niagara, I played Ghost, the one that Spooky Dogwood. I played Spooky Dogwood just because I felt like games would drag on into time, but it didn't really come up, and I'm glad I played Dark Ruler instead. Okay, so this is a regional, and Toronto Regionals is notorious for Floowandereeze winning the event, right? And last time I played this deck was at Niagara Regionals, and I also lost to Floowandereeze again. I got Dimension Fissured and then Dreaming Town, and I lost. So, we're not letting that happen again. Played 1 Duster, 2 Lightning Storm, 3 Cosmic, 2 Twister. We're not losing to back row.
And stun.
And stun, and right. So the other thing was, obviously, was Runic Stun picking popularity, and obviously Kashtira being popular as well. You want to have like ample answers to like floodgates, because that's the only way like Branded actually loses, like if you floodgate them, hence Puppet. But I really wanted coverage for like all these matchups, and I'm really glad I did because I played like 2 Centurion, 1 Kashtira, 1 Floowandereeze, and this one other like rogue back row deck as well. So I'm really glad I did decide to do this, and I actually do think that you can't build your side deck for regionals expecting meta. I think you need to build your deck to respect like the best deck of the format, and like engine wise you need to have like a good matchup. But I think you need to take like the meta with a grain of salt, because I think regionals always have their own meta as well, especially Toronto. So that. And then last card, the reason I put Magnuma into my main deck as a 50-second card was for this card, Branded Banishment. This card, I played 1 Branded Mirror in round 8 to top this event. I needed to win, and this card is what won me that game. So literally, also like shout out to Matt. He theory crafted me, but like my side deck at like 1:30 a.m. in the morning today, and this card obviously paid off because it won me the match that I needed to win the regional, or like sorry, to top the regional. And I think it was good because it does give you some flexibility in terms of the mirror match as well. Because it does allow your Aluber and your Thrush to have like more meaningful combinations of plays. And yeah, I think overall it was a good inclusion. Obviously, it did what I needed to do. So good 15th card, and I'm glad I pushed the Magnuma into the main deck. So,
well, thank you again so much for the deck profile. Any last shoutouts?
Shoutouts to the Council of Rabina. Shoutouts to Matt for like helping me with this deck. Shoutouts to Hartford for lending me the ulti thrust. Shout out to Mariana for driving here. Shout out to Sharon. Oh, I also had like a meltdown like halfway through this event because like I misplayed, and then I texted my friend Sharon, and then she just encouraged me to like just get your head up, get back in the game, and yeah. So yeah, that's it. Oh, shout out to also Hakuna. I literally didn't know the meta game until I watched your tier list video. Like I think that was posted yesterday or 2 days ago. So also shout out to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, no worries.